welcome back to another YouTube video. I know it's been a few weeks since I haven't uploaded. I'm very sorry, but I've just been insanely busy and it just takes time to make these videos, so here I go. I promise I'm gonna try to be a little bit more consistent from now till the end of the year and hope to give you guys a little bit more videos because I mean, you are subscribed to a reason and for a reason, sorry. And yeah, let's get rolling. So as you saw in the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about what I learned in this last year in 2020 and also basically what I learned in my 30th year of being alive, which so happened to be 2020. I just turned 31 2 weeks ago and there's just been so many lessons that I've learned this year that I thought I had to share. So here we go. I wrote some of them down so I may look down for some help. But the number one thing that I learned was to just really be thankful and grateful for what I have. And I think that's something that I'm sure we all think or we all, say all the time, like, oh, just be grateful. But I feel like with 2020, it really did like sink in into really being thankful for everything that you have. Not only just the roof over your head, but the food, your family, your loved ones, your work, your career. Just there's so many things that I'm sure you can think of right now that you take for granted that could be taken away really quickly. And only then would you realize that it was, such an important thing in your life. And that's one of them for me, was just to really learn to be grateful. And I think it's easier said than done. But being grateful really is something that I learned a lot in my 30th year. Another thing was to just try to follow my own timeline, and that comes with turning 30. So I remember when I turned 30, I started stressing out, and I made a post about this on LinkedIn, which I'll link it down below if you want to check it out. And I remember turning 30 and thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I haven't done this, that. Like there was a laundry list of things that I felt like a failure because I hadn't achieved them. And I felt like all of those things had to be achieved in my 20s. And 2020 really has taught me, especially my 30th year, really taught me that it doesn't really have to be that way. It's a lot of pressure that we put on ourselves because of society, because of family, because of it is what is expected from us. But I really feel this last year, I really learned to follow my own timeline and to not necessarily live my life because of what others think, but just kind of like live my life the way I want it. So I'll give you a perfect example. I had a few things that I said I had to achieve by the time I was 30. I said I had to have 10 houses of real estate, like rental properties. I said I had to have X amount of money in my bank account. Like I wanted this huge saving in my bank account. I said that I wanted to be at an X position at work with a specific title. I said that by 30, I wanted to have a baby in my 30th year. Was that the year that I was going to have a baby was when I turned 30. There was just so many other things that I said I had to do, and there was literally a list that I gave myself. First of all, I really feel like a lot of the items that were on my list really never should have ever been on my list, but I put them on my list because I felt like society was pressuring me to, or because I felt like I was getting older, or I felt because that's what someone in their 30s has to do, when in reality, it wasn't. And through my last year, I forced myself on so many of these things of trying to achieve them that no matter what, I had to fit this goal and I had to check them off my list. And a lot of times, there's a lot of things that you can't control in life. And the more you want to control things, the more life laughs at you. So I think my 30th year really taught me that follow my own timeline and things will work themselves out. Life, that's what life is. Like life wouldn't be fun if everything that you said you were going to do within such a short period of time would just happen. So the biggest thing that I learned was definitely just enjoy the journey, not so much the end goal, the destination, because that's what life is, right? The ups, the downs, that's what makes life fun, and not just when you reach your goal. Because I think a lot of times, and I've seen this countless times in my own personal life, where I'll give myself a goal, I'll work super hard towards it, and that's where the fun is, that's where the challenge is. But once I get to my goal, I'm bored. I'm like, okay, what's next? And you move on from the goal. So that's just an example of really just enjoy the journey. There will be hard times, there will be challenges, and just enjoy them because they teach you something at the end of the day. So 2020 has been extremely hard for a lot of people. A lot of people have lost their jobs, lost family members. It's obviously been the worst year in the world, in my opinion. And I still try to look at the positive side. I feel like 2020 has been one of the best years in my life because I got to learn so much in this year. I got to learn to be more grateful. I got to learn to be resilient. I got to learn to get out of my comfort zone. I learned that I had to follow my own timelines and not to force things upon myself. Like, looking back, yes, it's a bad year, but I also feel like out of such a negative year, I got the best year ever out of it. So that's another thing. One really important thing, and I hope if you listen to this, you will do it, is save money for a rainy day. Now, if you've seen any of my videos or if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I am a huge advocate for saving money. I am quote unquote a cheapskate. I'm always thinking of a rainy day. And a lot of people would always laugh at me or be like, oh, you're too worried about rainy days and things like that. But I think 2020 really showed all of us that there will be a rainy day and you better have savings. And because, I mean, people lost their jobs, some people couldn't go to work, budgets got tight. And I think I had already learned my lesson from the first downturn. And when the second downturn hit, I mean, luckily I didn't lose my job, but I was ready. So this is definitely something that we all need to learn once the economy comes back, once we all get back our jobs. It's definitely something you need to always be saving for a rainy day. So that's another thing. I would say another thing that I really learned was I'm still working on it, to be honest. I don't think I'm close to being there, but is definitely having more empathy towards people and just being kinder. This is something that I've, every time it's a new year, it's one of my New Year's resolutions is just to be softer, be nicer, be more gentle, be less, judgmental, less, all the negative things that I also am in my personality, and just really being more empathetic because that's something that I lack. I am usually very harsh towards, people who are lazy, people who aren't go-getters, people who, don't wake up every day to be better every single day, the hardest, workers. And I think I just need to realize that not everybody has the same aspirations and goals as me, and that's okay. Not everybody needs to work 24/7 to be happy. Not everybody, needs to fit this mold that I think is how you should be living your life, and that everybody just has their own way of going through life, and that's okay. And that's my biggest struggle, is that I always feel like everybody needs to be like me. Like, you need to be just as motivated. You need to be killing it like I am. And I'm always trying to portray that, but I think it's okay to back off once in a while and just accept that everybody's going through their own struggles. Everybody's going through things that I may not know about. And I think that's what really is teaching me to be more empathetic, is every time I'm going to, be mad or frustrated or rude towards someone, I just kind of take a step back and think this person may be going through something that you don't know. And things like that. Just trying to understand more they're, walking in their shoes instead of always just being negative. So that's definitely something that I'm working on, and that I've definitely feel like I've learned a lot in my last, 30th year of being alive. And the last one was, I really feel like going through a downturn in your career and being able to work is a huge growth. So I remember when, everybody was getting laid off and things were getting really bad at work, I thought to myself, okay, instead of complaining and being frustrated every day about the downturn and about the fact that oil prices were going down and about the fact that everybody in my surroundings was getting laid off and all that, I just thought to myself, just enjoy this ride. You have a job, learn as much as you can, because you're going to be learning to survive. You're in survival mode. You're going to go through one of the worst downturns that you've ever faced, and you're going to come out on top. So the last few months have been extremely challenging, have been difficult. It's been an uphill battle, but looking back, even now when we're almost done the year, I could be like, wow, I made it through 2020 and I killed it. I gave it my all. I learned how to survive in a downturn. I learned how to make new deals happen. I learned how to run a business with less people, with less resources. Like, yes, it was the worst year ever, like I said in the beginning, but looking career growth and even just personal growth, it's been the best year ever, because I would have never learned all these things and grown as much if I would have just been comfortable in 2020 because things were so good. So I think you always need to look at the positive out of really any situation, and that's really what I've done for 2020, and I hope that you do too. I'm sure that even though you've probably had it really bad on your end, I'm sure there's something positive that came out of 2020 that you can try to take out and, you know, think about. I remember I kind of made a post on Instagram about it, and I had a few people reach out to me saying that, you know, 2020 has been really bad for them. They've lost their job, the money's tight, but they also said that it was a great year because, you know, they got to go visit family, they got to travel, and, you know, within the country, and that they got to visit things, they got to take time off, they got to relax at home, they got to spend time at home, which they never were at home with their kids. So, you know, like, even if really bad things have happened, I think there's also a lot of positive that we can all take out of 2020. And yeah, I wanted to make this video short, and really I want to leave you guys with, you know, enjoy the journey, because the destination will get here so quickly and you're already going to be over it. And really the fun part about life is the journey. So I'm excited for this 31st year of me being alive, and I hope to make a video next year to see all the things that I learned in my 31st year, because we never stop learning. So hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.